Okay. And sure. Is that really difficult angle for everybody to see? Would it be easier to do like that? Yes. Okay. I'm seeing a nodding from Miss Jessica. There we go. Try and get it a little straighter. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will do one card pretty much all the way through first, and then we'll walk through, we'll do it together. Okay, so I'm going to do all of the steps and do one entirely completed, and then we'll do a second one, and everybody can just kind of do theirs along at the same time. Okay, so first of all, what I'm doing today is I'm going to be working, this is going to be my background. So we're going to start with our background. And because I want to put it on a 4.25 by 5.5 inch card. So this is a standard A2 card. Okay. And that's what size this is. It's a little big for my card. So I actually want to trim it down a little bit because I would actually like to have a little bit of the white border around. So that's where I'm going to start, is I'm going to trim down my border. To the side. Yeah. Next part, have my nice little piece of plastic here. This is actually from the magnet sheets that I was putting onto my bulletin board. So perfect little piece of plastic, don't need to throw it away. As you can see, it's going to be a little big. So scissors are here. So I'm going to trim off the end that's kind of crappy looking. Like the area where I pulled off the edge of the display part. Then I'm going to cut it in half. So each piece of plastic or baggie that you have, you should be able to get 2 cards out of it. And just because I'm lazy, I'm just going to cut off the end this way. Okay. 1 and 2. So now I want to check and make sure it's going to fit on my card. And guess what? Yay, it will. Okay. Turning it over the card, or the card back anyways, or the background panel. I'm going to take a strong dry adhesive. So you want to use a tape of some sort, red line tape, Sukwang. You can use your tape runner, but you want it to be a really incredibly strong hold, because this is essentially what's going to hold your shaker bits all in. You don't want your shaker bits, somebody having a good time with them and no more shaker bits. They'll start falling out all over the floor or something like that. Because it's one thing for yourself to play around with glitter. It's a whole other thing when you start sending it to somebody and then it's all over their house because they're having a good time with their shaker card. That kind of sucks. Okay. And I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to burnish my Sukwang down just to make sure that I'm getting an extra good hold or extra strong hold. I don't want it to be lifting from the card base. Okay. Now, fortunately enough, I don't really have a pattern on here, so I'm just going to stick this down. Okay. Now, I'm not sure, well, I think you're getting enough of a reflection off of the plastic so you can see how far it's sticking out. That's actually going to be a little too big, but the first thing that I want to do is, much like when we're doing the, when we're making our albums, okay, we're going to miter the edges here just a little bit so that we can have a nicer closure on when we fold this all over. So I'm just going to go around and just pull off, not pull off, I'm going to trim and just create a bit of an angle here so that I can create a much nicer envelope of my plastic. Okay. I don't want to go too shallow because I want to make sure that my corners will still close nicely. Okay. So hopefully you guys can all see that. Let's see if I can get it here. Put it on. No, it's not going to show it on there. But see, I've basically just trimmed the edges so that I've now got basically 8 edges. Okay. Now, next part is I'm going to start peeling my sequin, but I only want to peel it on 3 sides. And the bottom. And here, I'm going to take one side and I'm going to fold that over, push it down into the sequin, burnish it so that it's well adhered. One side, then I'm going to go over to the other side. So essentially what this is going to look like, you ever had like penny candies when they would have those little paper sacks or things like that? That's what we're doing. We're creating just a teeny tiny little envelope. And so here you can see on the bottom flap, I'm going to have nice corners, nice edge here. And coming back up, pushing down, just like that. I'm going to burnish that in. Then I want to take my scissors and I'm just going to go everywhere here where it's not touching. I'm going to trim it a little bit so that this isn't flapping loose and everything. Because when we go to stick this onto our card front, we want to have a nice, edge to it so that it sticks down really nicely. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now on the back, it's all stuck down. And if I hold it up, you can actually see I've got a nice little envelope. I even have a nice little lip here that will help catch some of my materials that are going to go in here. Okay, and this allows me to now fill my shaker card. And this is all based on preference, on how much would you like to have in your shaker card. Basically, because this is a fairly thin plastic, you want to have things that are as flat as possible. I did put in, yesterday, I used some kind of plastic discs on that one. So you can start to see here as I'm starting to fill it up, you can see a little bit there. I've got some nice little, I don't know if that's going to open enough there. Some smaller pieces. Oops. Getting a little carried away. And then because this one's a Valentine's Day one, I want to put in a few hearts. Oh. Okay. So it's fairly full at the bottom, but to test it out, I can just kind of fold this over. That's a nice shaker. It's moving around on the inside there. That works for me. So now I'm going to take it, I'm going to turn it over to the back again, and I'm going to remove the last piece of sequin or the cover on the adhesive. Okay. Then I'm going to fold this back over nice and tight. So now I've got a nice good seal. I'm going to take my bone folder here again, burnish that down, and I can go back and trim. Trim. There we go. And I have a nice shaker envelope. Now to stick it onto my card base, I'm going to take my sequin here again. Now I'm going in a little bit because I want it to not just stick on the plastic part. I want it to stick a little bit to the cardstock as well. Down the center. Now at this point, you could use liquid adhesive if that's what you prefer to use. That's really up to you. I just think that it's a lot neater and tidier so that you don't end up having anything possibly leaking onto the plastic or anything like that. Card base. Just peeling off the sequin. Now I'm going to attempt to roughly center that on my card. Try hopefully getting it fairly straight. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. Cool. All right. So that got that. Okay, so now I have a variety of sentiments. Oh, this black glove on there. I still have the white one. Yeah. Okay, so with the black, which is not bad. Yep, think I'm gonna go with that one. So now, because I'm sticking this down on plastic and I don't want to pull out my super thin sequin, it's in my drawer. I have some. This is where I'm going to use some liquid adhesive. So I'm just going to do a couple of little dots on the back. I don't need to use a ton. It's just a simple little dye. It's not super heavy. My tweezers. So now I'm going to stick that down like that. And I'm just going to use a block on top for a little bit to hold it down. Give it a couple of minutes to adhere. And essentially, my card is now done. Fairly easy peasy. What's really nice about this is if you've already got prepared backgrounds, you can be done in like next to nothing. Like I've got a whole stack here of backgrounds that wrong way, there we go, that I could use and just, that took me, when did I start it? Was that 10 minutes? And that included, you know, getting my stuff all together and everything. So super, super easy. Just keep that on there. And chance for it to set up a little bit. And all done. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead, Judy.
So I did a 5 by 7 or 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So it fits into one of those sleeves perfectly for card. So do I just, so I can just cut off the top and then fold that over?
Yes, you could. Yeah.
Would it work the same?
It would, yeah. But what I would use though is that I would use soup wang to seal it, not the glue that comes on it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's too big that way. I was going to make it the same size, but I just thought if I folded it over, I just wanted to know if I could do that.
Yeah, but what you're probably going to have to do, so I'll show you on this extra, this one here. Okay, so yours is going to have a taller flap, right? Because you put it in the envelope. So it's got a taller flap. So here's what I'll do is I'll cut like, so yours is going to look something like, not entirely like this, but it's got the taller flap. So you're going to need to make this one, the one at the back, a little shorter. Okay, because you're planning on cutting it probably straight across. So you're going to want the one at the back to be a little shorter. You're going to have to seal that one and then miter your edges here and fold it over.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. Right. Anybody else?
Can you just say what size your papers and stuff were again?
Okay, so for mine, it was for a standard A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so it's a 8.5 by 11 sheet, and then you cut it in half one way or the other. Yeah. So all of my backgrounds that I'm using are an 8.5 by 11 sheet quartered. So this one is 4 1/4. So let's see if I can, So this one, this is 5 1/2 in length this way, 4 1/4 this way. Okay. So that's a full size that will fit on the front of, let's see here, this is the A2 card right here. So this card as well is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay. So this would fit perfectly on the front of here, but I do like it to have a little bit of a border. So when I cut mine down, I went to 3 3/4 and 5 inches.
Okay.
I cut a I cut a 1/2 inch off of each side,
Okay.
just so that it would have a nice framework border, especially because this side, because this is so dark, right? So now it has this nice white on it, makes it look a little lighter. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So for me, when I like to do my cards, I like to do a variety. I'll do half sheets that fold like the regular way, portrait or landscape, but I also like a top note. So this is a top folding note card, which is, I just cut my paper in half lengthways and create my own backgrounds, or sorry, my own card bases that way. Okay. All right, is everybody ready to give it a go?
Yep.
Okay, so that, well, I think seeing as how I have all of these parts all over my desk here, I'm going to start with another. Yep, I'm going to do another one of these. Okay, so again, because my sheet here, my background piece is a little too big, I'm just going to trim it down, because this does have a little bit of the white on it, so I want to make sure that I can still see that. All right. Now, fortunately enough, because the first one, so you're going to take your bag, everybody except for Judy, who's doing a slightly larger one. You're going to take your bag or whatever it is that you've got, and you're going to cut it in half. Okay. So if you've got one that's like this, just go along the edges here. You're going to trim. And because it is a little long, you don't have to go down the seams. If you're doing a standard A2 size card, you don't have to go down the seams. You can just cut it in half this way, and then you'll have 2 separate pieces. Just leaves a little less trimming for the back. So, okay. So now I've got my paper, or sorry, my plastic that will fit onto my paper. So I'm going to turn this upside down here. And I'm going to go around and I want to trim, or I want to miter my edges a little bit so that I can give myself a nice clean fold as I'm going around. So Judy, you won't need to do this. You'll only need to do this on the 2 sides of your thing, like at the top there for your envelope.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Everybody at about that stage? Next step is to go ahead and put your adhesive, your sukwang, your tape, whatever you're using, on the back of your card, or of your card base, sorry. And when I'm doing this part, I do use my scissors so that I'm a little more precise on my sukwang, because I don't want it coming close to the edge, because that could contribute to having pieces like you get a little bit of adhesive over the edge, and your inside bits will stick a little bit then to that place. You might like that look, you might not. So for me, I'm being a little bit more precise than I am once I've actually got everything glued together, and I'm just putting sukwang on the back in order to adhere my card base to my actual card. Then again, I'm going to go and I'm going to burnish. I'm burnishing, burnishing, burnishing. Everybody at this stage? Anybody having? Make sure everybody's coming along. I don't want to go too fast. Okay, then the next step is you're going to peel 3 sides of your tape, or 3 sides for the background. Not all 4, you want to keep 1. so that you can fill your shaker front. So you're just going to peel 3 sides to start with. And you're going to fold it over and stick it down. And so that I can get a nice crisp bottom, I like to do the 2 longer edges first. That's just preference. You can go bottom and 2 sides. You can go side, bottom, side. It's really up to you. There's no it's not necessary to have to do it in this order. I just like to do the 2 sides, and then I can come up and get a nice clean edge on the bottom. Once I'm done sticking it down, I'll do a little bit of trimming. Get in there, and I'm going to burnish, and burnish. Okay, so is everybody at the stage where they've got the envelope? You've got your little flap at the front here that helps to catch all your little shaker bits. And I have managed to dump quite a few of them out on my desk here, so I'm just gonna kind of pour a little bit. I'm going to go with the slightly bigger ones to start with. There we go. Put in some hearts. This lip on the edge is just so stinking handy. Catches everything and kind of slow it all down, or throw it all down in there. Yeah. Give it a good tap at the front. And if you're not sure, if you have enough shaker parts in there, just fold over the edge. Give it a bit of a shake. Does it give the satisfying sound of, or do you want to have less in there? Like, it's really up to you. How much shaker bits you like to have in there is totally up to you. Once you're finished filling, it's stuck in there. Okay. Make sure that all of your shaker bits have kind of moved out of the way of when you're trying to fold this over. And now we're going to close our little pocket or a little envelope here. So we're going to pull up the last piece of, remove the last piece of adhesive cover there. No, there's a more specific word for it than adhesive cover. And you're going to fold that over nice and tight. And then burnish it in so that it adheres fully to the sequin. And I've got quite a lip here, so I'm going to trim that off. There we go. Okay, so we should all have jiggly bits in your card. What? Jiggly bits in your cards and sequin.
I know, because soon as you said all the bits, all I could think was Joanne and Jiggly Bits. So,
Jiggly
you know,
bits.
sequin.
Right? Exactly. So play with it. Make sure it's, shaken to your jiggly bits are shaken the way you want your jiggly bits to shake. And then you're going to go around, you're going to put your adhesive again on the back so that we can now adhere it to our card base. So, and again, when you're putting your sequin or whatever you're using on the back, you want to make sure that you're getting the plastic and a bit of the card stock so that it adheres fully on the back there. So that should something start to come loose, it still has a bit of adherence to both pieces of material. And this one, I'm not being as precise because it doesn't have to be like, the edges don't have to be like super woohoo because it's not in contact with any of my shaker bits. I'm gonna peel. With my tape cover. Oh, that's an extra little bit. I didn't know. Kind of doing that out of frame. Sorry, guys. I'm was making the assumption you all know how to remove the adhesive backing for your sequin, but maybe not. Okay. So now I'm going to adhere this to my card base, and I want to make sure, so I'm checking to make sure which side opens, because I've, been known to do a left-handed card or two, or upside down card. So I want to make sure that my card is opening the way that I want it to. And I'm going to look at my shaker bit here, and I want to see which way do I want to have. I want to make sure that I have the side facing up or whatever. I have it positioned in the way that I want it to be positioned. Okay. And then I'm going to stick it down. So and then the really nice thing, one of the reasons why you would like to do a flat shaker card is because there's no extra postage, because it's still almost a one-layer card versus having the extra buildup of the dam, like having to use so much foam tape, etc. on your card. You have to pay a lot more for postage. Okay. So now got all these really cute hearts. I'm going to use this all the feels. And I think, let me see here. Yep, I think I'm going to stick it down in the bottom here again. Well, nope, I want my hearts to radiate for this part. So I'm going to kind of tap my shaker so that all of the, most of the bits go to the top there so that I can stick this down. And because this one is a more solid piece, I'm actually going to use a couple pieces of sukwang so it sticks quickly. So, like so. Stick it down. And one more shaker. Needed. All the feels. I'll put it up so you guys can actually read it there. There we go. Ta-da! And this was the background that I did. Oh, geez, I think this was last year in January when we did the white pigment ink stuff. So just pull out, if you're having one of the best things to do if you're having an uncreative day or you feel like you've lost your mojo is just get out some of your supplies and just create a bunch of backgrounds. Don't worry about having to turn them into cards, because this one, pretty sure this background was also from last January. Might have been last spring. This is when we did the embossing powder on the silver or on the metallic cardstock and an embossing. And 2 cards in 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Not bad, not bad. And if we need,
for you to say,
well, we can do one more if you would like. I'll walk you through it again. How did that go for everybody? How's everybody doing?
wait, I'm so far behind.
Excellent.
Bev's good. Ethel has 2. That's good. Linda, you said that you're behind. Where are you at? What do you need?
I'm trying to get the suckling off to put on my card base.
Okay.
No,
You're
no,
not
to
that far
put-
behind.
No, to put on my card.
Yeah, to put on your card. Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're
I
still
just laugh at you because you go wing, 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 and I'm clumsy.
Well, one of the things if you're trying to get your sukwang off, use one of these things.
Oh, I'm using my tweezers.
Oh, well, that works too. Yeah, something that helps to remove, because it sticks under
Yeah.
there. I happen to have a nail, so it makes it really easy to kind of peel it up. It's not always like that.
Yeah.
Was the concept fairly simple for everybody, or do we want to do another walkthrough?
Oh,
Yeah, I
this
think
is
it's
great.
Got it.
Okay, so I heard from Bev. She said she got it. Heather's got it. Ethel
got
has
it.
two
Got
cards,
it.
so she's good.
I think I got it. I'm experimenting.
Judy's experimenting. Okay, good.
I'm doing some dragonflies that I'm cardboard that I'm doubling.
Yeah.
So they're heavy, and I'm going to put them in with my shaker. Seeing it's a big one.
You're gonna put them on the inside.
This one, yeah.
to move it around kind of thing? So
Yeah,
it's
they'll
shaped?
move around. They'll
Nice.
move
Okay,
around.
cool. Okay.
They're not,
Lisa, you're doing okay? You can just thumb up if you're okay. You're good? Okay, good. Do you want another one or you're good to just, you got the concept? You need to do another one. You're good. Okay. And Ethel, I know you did too, so I'm assuming that means you're okay. Okay. Gail, you're doing okay?
Yeah, I'm working on my first one still, but I'm okay.
Okay, got the concept. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, and then we've got Heather. I heard you're okay. Eileen, you're doing all right?
Just was following your concept. It's wonderful.
Okay, good. So good. So simple enough to recreate on your own, or do
You
we need to
betcha.
do another one?
Nope, you're fine.
Okay,
That's great.
Roxanne? You're
Yeah.
good?
I'm good. I was just watching, but I'm pretty sure I can do it.
Good, good, good,
Yeah.
good. Donna, I don't think you were doing it. Kathy, you're all right?
Yep, I was just watching and I'm gonna definitely try this. I like it.
Cool, awesome. Good, good, good. Okay, I'll come back. Linda, how are you making out?
Oh, perfect.
Good, okay. Do you want me to do another walkthrough or you're okay? You got the
No,
concept?
I'm perfectly fine.
That one's pretty simple, right? It's not bad.
No, it's perfect.
And it's so much easier than the original shakers too, I have to say. Like,
Oh.
this is
yes.
Good.
good. Okay, well, ladies, that was class. See, look at, I had it done in under an hour. Hot down. So I'm going to
Thanks,
stop
Linda.
the recording
Thank
now.
you.
That was great. Thank you.
Good, good, good.